The palace of the Aurelin kingdom hung above the blue clouds of their world like a suspended jewel. Its silver towers shimmered against the sky as if sculpted from light itself. Inside those halls, Princess Leora struggled to keep her breath steady. Her advisors had repeated the same message all morning. A human warrior was arriving as a royal guest for negotiations between their people. That alone should not have troubled her. She had spoken with the leaders of distant nations before. She had met ambassadors, warriors, scholars, and envoys from dozens of species. Yet this was different in a way she could not explain. Humans had a reputation. They were known for courage that bordered on recklessness. They were known for stubborn resolve that could shake entire battle lines. They were known for a kind of unpredictable spark that no record in the galactic archives had ever managed to describe clearly. Reports said they were adaptable, fast-thinking, and strangely driven by a force they called the human spirit. That last detail unsettled her more than she wished to admit. Every species had spirit. The fact that humans insisted on naming their own as something distinct made her wonder what exactly she was about to encounter. She stood before a tall mirror in her private hall. Her reflection revealed long silver hair braided neatly behind her shoulders. Her eyes held the glow native to her lineage, a gentle violet that shimmered like starlight. Her gown was ceremonial, yet light enough for movement in case of urgent need. Her hands trembled. She forced them still. As heir to the throne, she could show many qualities. Fear was not one of them. A soft tone echoed through her chamber. Her attendant, Myra, stepped inside and bowed. Myra's presence had always calmed her. She carried herself with quiet confidence, even when palace matters grew tense. "Princess, the human delegation has entered the arrival hall," Myra said. Leora nodded slowly. "The warrior with them. Is he the one their commander mentioned?" "Yes, Princess. His name is Aaron. They describe him as a defender who earned recognition during several frontier conflicts. He is known for discipline. They speak of him with respect." Leora appreciated that information. Still, she felt her pulse quicken. "Very well. I will meet him in the reception hall." She walked with Myra through bright corridors lined with crystalline carvings. The palace hummed with soft energy, a resonance from the living metal architecture crafted centuries ago. Her ancestors had shaped this place with mastery. Under any other circumstances, she would have felt pride walking through it. Today the walls felt too close. When the reception hall doors opened, Leora stood tall. The room was vast, with arched windows revealing the glowing sky. Palace guards stood along the edges. Advisors waited near the steps of the central dais. Across the hall, the human delegation stood with their representative. And at the front of them was the warrior. Aaron was taller than she expected. His posture was steady, grounded as though nothing in the hall could shift him. His uniform was a dark protective suit with reinforced plating, but it was not heavy or bulky. It moved with him as naturally as a second layer of muscle. His eyes held a deep clarity. They were steady, focused, and calmly aware of every detail around him. When he stepped forward, he bowed his head with quiet precision. "Princess Leora, I come with respect on behalf of my people." His voice was smooth and controlled. Not loud, not aggressive. Simply calm. Leora felt her breath release. She had prepared herself for a presence that would overwhelm her. Instead, she found herself confronted with an unexpected steadiness. Though his form carried great strength, he did not radiate intimidation. He radiated purpose. "You are welcome here, Aaron of Earth. The Aurelin kingdom appreciates your arrival." He lifted his gaze. Their eyes met. For a brief instant, she felt the strange force she had heard of. That spark. Not chaotic, not violent, but bright, determined. She could see why others spoke of humans with a mixture of admiration and caution. The formal introductions ended quickly. As the advisors began discussing arrangements, the princess's father, King Aral, entered with the royal escort. He welcomed the human delegation and exchanged diplomatic greetings. Once the essentials were established, he motioned for Aaron to step closer. "I am told you stand among your people's finest defenders." The king said, "I stand where my duty places me." "Your Majesty." That simple line made Leora turn slightly toward him. Humility did not always come from trained warriors. Some saw their strength as a crown. Aaron spoke as if it was only a tool. The king nodded with approval. "You will remain as guest and observer during our negotiations. My daughter will guide you through the palace and our traditions." Leora kept her expression composed though her heart jolted. She had not expected to be assigned as his primary guide. She hoped her unease did not show. Aaron bowed again. "I accept this honor." Moments later, the gathering dispersed. Leora stepped toward her new companion. "If you are prepared, I will show you the gardens first. They hold much of our cultural history." He nodded once. "Lead the way, princess." They walked through tall glass corridors, overlooking the floating city beneath them. The distant towers gleamed with threads of energy flowing between them, like rivers of light. Leora glanced at Aaron. His gaze swept the horizon with thoughtful interest. "You have never visited a world like ours before?" she asked. "No. Each world I have seen carries its own breath. Yours carries calm beauty." His tone contained no flattery, only truth. She felt a quiet warmth in his words. They reached the gardens perched along the outer ring of the palace. Crystalline trees rose in spirals, their leaves made of thin energy that shimmered like singing light. Flowers glowed gently along the pathways. Transparent stones carried soft pulses beneath their feet. Aaron paused, studying the scene with open admiration. "This place is alive with harmony." Leora felt her chest ease. "Our ancestors believed life and structure must exist together. Every stone, every tree, every shimmer of light is shaped to guide growth." Aaron turned to her. "I can see why your people flourish." She noticed something subtle in his expression. Respect, not only for the place, but for the idea behind it. Many visitors admired the beauty. Few recognized the philosophy. "You observe deeply for a warrior," she said. He gave a small nod. "Understanding a place is part of knowing how to protect others." That thought lingered in her mind. She continued guiding him through the luminous paths. Birds of shimmering feathers drifted above them, leaving trails of glowing dust. She explained their significance and the legends tied to them. Aaron listened with full attention. They reached a small platform overlooking the lower cloud sea. The wind carried a gentle hum. Leora stood beside him, watching the horizon shift with streaks of pink and blue. "Princess Leora," Aaron said after a quiet moment. "Yes, I sense unease in you." "Not fear, something else." She hesitated. "You are perceptive." "I try to be." Leora breathed softly. The truth was simple. "I did not know what to expect from meeting a human warrior. Your people are known for unpredictability. I feared that meeting you would be like confronting a storm." Aaron considered her words. "Storms can appear in many forms. Some destroy. Some bring change. Some clear the way for new life." "That is poetic," she said. "I learned it from an old instructor who taught us that strength is not only force. It is the direction of that force." She smiled faintly. "You speak with more wisdom than most diplomats I have met." "I only speak what I know." Their conversation carried on with surprising ease. Aaron asked thoughtful questions about her people's customs. He listened without interrupting. He shared details of human life, not exaggerated tales of war, but simple truths. He spoke of cooperation, survival, and the drive to protect Dot. As hours passed, she found her earlier tension dissolving. Yet something else grew in its place: curiosity, respect, and an unfamiliar warmth she struggled to name. Later, when they returned to the palace interior, an urgent message reached her through her personal console. A tremor ran through the floating city. One of the lower stabilizer cores had malfunctioned. The core maintained the energy flow that kept the city balanced above the clouds. If the issue spread, parts of the city could tilt or collapse. The king's voice echoed through the palace. All personnel prepare for emergency response. Guards rushed through the halls. Advisors scrambled. The shift of energy under their feet grew unstable. Erin stepped closer. "Princess, what do you need?" Her mind snapped into focus. "We must reach the monitoring chamber. If the core destabilizes further, we must reroute power. Lead on." They moved through narrowing corridors as alarms sounded. Liara reached the chamber with Erin behind her. Technicians worked frantically. The core display flickered with warning signals. "Princess," the chief technician said, "a surge in the lower ring destabilized the main conduit. If we cannot correct it, the city will lose balance." Liara took a station and began inputting commands. Erin stood beside her, watching the readings. "Can I assist?" She nodded. "Hold the manual override panel. When I give the signal, press the stabilizer release." The room shook. One of the energy conduits burst. A shock wave slammed into the wall. A large support beam cracked and fell. Liara stumbled. Before she could strike the floor, Erin caught her and pulled her back to safety with swift precision. "Stay with me," he said. She regained her balance and returned to the console. Now, Erin pressed the manual release with force that cut through the resistance. The entire R